Hey, what's up? What's up? So this is Business Daily live session, BD Live. Today we are going to be talking to Likarion.
One of the directors.
Just
one of them.
Yeah, so Mr. Likarion is one of the directors. MTV Shuga Mashariki coming back after years. Like, this is 10 years later, right?
Yeah.
A few seasons later, they've been to Nigeria and South Africa, and now they're coming to Kenya. Now, let's not go there. Let's first talk about you as a director. Because I'm thinking, dude, last year you've had historically very, very good productions. So how do you intend to beat your own record with this particular production?
Yeah.
It's a simple question.
Okay, pressure, thanks.
Yes.
But for me, I think it's not about beating my record. It's sort of like maintaining the MTV Shuga record.
Okay.
Because MTV Shuga is bigger than anyone in the team. It's a massive brand. What MTV Shuga Season 1 did for the industry, it lifted the industry to heights that I don't think we've come close to. It was revolutionary in terms of the kind of stories they're telling, how they capture it. So even the topics they're addressing, it changed everything. So for us and for me, as one of the writers coming in, it's just to make sure that the ceiling does not fall. They already set up the building, the foundation, they set up the building.
Okay.
For us is, what does Shuga represent and how can we maintain it? So it's not an individual thing. It's not about Likarion bringing in his flair. It's Likarion coming in with his personality to maintain the level that was already set by the greats.
So it's aligning with what has been established already?
Yeah.
Or is it more of, we've had 7 seasons of this, we'd want to introduce something new, or we want to give, because we live in an age where, let's just be honest, whatever was happening 10 years ago has totally changed. Right now, kids they have the attention span of over fish because of social media, TikTok. They prefer videos that are like, 5 seconds long. Don't you think that it's necessary to evolve, or at least play around with what has been established in order to accommodate the changes that are taking place?
100%,
Yeah.
I agree. And that's where the maintaining the ceiling comes in.
Okay.
Because we're here to make repairs and adjust to the new generation.
Okay.
But we cannot also ignore the older generation. And that's a balance we're trying to play, where for us, my generation, we grew up with Shuga.
True.
And so we know what it did to us. And we are still alive.
Yeah.
And we will still watch the new Shuga. So we have to balance that with the new generation, most of whom don't even know what Shuga is.
True.
Yeah, they don't know what Shuga is. They don't know the impact it had. So we have the older generation being like, you have to maintain it. This is how it's used to. And then the new generation who are like, let's see if it will live up to the hype. It's finding the balance, and that's what that's the whole theme of the show, actually. It is, what is the difference between old Shuga and new Shuga? What is the difference between old Nairobi, old Kenya, and new Kenya, where we've evolved to? And how do we bridge the gap rather than breaking the bridge, ignoring one generation and moving on with the other? We have to respect both, and that's the challenge that we are having. A good challenge that I feel like was already set by the writers, the kind of stories they choose. It's not about the directors. If no amount of flair and amazing directing can salvage a terrible story. So for me, even I refused to sign up until I saw the story.
Oh, nice.
The moment I saw the stories, when I was like, I am 100% in. I didn't come because of it's Shuga. I came because it's a fantastic story. Fast, interesting characters, individualized characters, and then now I'm like, now we bring in Shuga. So
you are what I like to call a writer-director, heavy influence when it comes to writing. How are there adjustments that you made to the script or story once you saw it that you felt like, we need to make this a certain way that is, a particular way that you felt like I can adjust one or two things?
Yeah, we did as directors. So what we did was we were brought in to create a visual approach.
Okay.
And so while we were doing our visual breakdowns, this massive document of how we intend to approach the show, we realized things in the writing that we can recommend to the writers to adjust so that it gives us an easier way to visually break down.
Yeah.
So we did do some recommendations to the writers, and we are so glad that majority of them were implemented, and small adjustments that we feel, because you can't come and overhaul, because again, yes, Shuga isn't just for fun, there is a message behind it. And so the recommendations we did were for visual representation, an easier breakdown, and I'm so glad that we were able to put a little bit of writers' input, but it wasn't major adjustments, just small tweaks that we felt.
You talked about something, the message. So, message versus creative vision.
Yeah.
How do you balance that as a director? Because this is from a foundation, right?
Yeah.
They have an objective. You are an extremely creative person. How do you bridge that?
For me, my creative process comes from being a slave to the story. Okay. It's not the other way around. I don't come with my creativity and force it down any story.
Yeah.
It is, I have an interesting story and the story is telling me, capture me like this. So my greatest creative decision is accepting a good story. That's why I always say, if the story does not align, that's it. And when you are slave to the story, your creative level changes as well. You adjust to that, so you're not the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, it is every decision I have made creatively. It's not Likarion style. It is the story told me this. The story demanded I film it this way. The story demanded that I approach it this way. It's not the other way around. That's why it's very important to pick the right story for any project you do.
And this is coming from you, one of the best directors in Africa. You're very confident with the story that you have. No, I'm taking it. It's coming out soon. You're going to see it. So I'll be here to review it. I'll be here to review it. I'll be here to break it down.
Yeah. For me also, in terms of story, I love the characters more than the story. Okay. Because that's important for the messaging.
Wait, what's your definition of a good story? I know we are going very pushing back. So what exactly is your definition of a good story? A good Kenyan story?
Yeah. For me, a good story is characters living authentically.
Okay.
And the story being allowed to breathe organically.
Okay.
A terrible story is where you really compress your characters and force them down a path that you think is a moral story or a moral principle that you're trying to shove down their throat, instead of just listening to the characters and let them guide you. You can't force character A to behave like character B. Character A should behave like character A. Let character A's story move according to that.
Okay.
And that's what I spotted in this one, where the characters were allowed. You could see that this writer allowed the character to just move this way, rather than, no, you have to, the point is this. And that's, for me, good story, good characters go hand in hand. And that's what I like about this one. The characters are individualized. There is no generic character per se.
Yeah.
Each of them has their own unique way of expression and their unique story that flows.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And how has it been working with the actors? Are we having new faces? Are we having old faces?
Yeah.
Is it because I know there's someone randomly seated there going like, oh, the same people? What's your experience working with actors? I would want you to say something about that, but you know, what has been your experience working with these new, fresh faces?
First, I think Shuga has a lot of fresh faces. At least they're fresh to me, because I've never worked with majority of them. There are one or two actors I've worked with before, but the rest are new.
Okay.
And so I was nervous, I won't lie. I come from the old school. I'm an old millennial. I'm like, oh, lazima wapitie mashida. Hey, this new generation they haven't felt the pain we went through. Yeah. So because I come with that attitude, I'm always like, let's see what these youngsters do. And let me tell you, I was flawed. These guys, they are so dedicated. I even made a bet with two actors in the show. I'm like, you guys are gonna break. And I'm trying to I bet a 2 kg of cake with one of them. Let me just tell you, yesterday, in fact, she called me out and like, I survived. I'm still here. I'm still excited. You owe me cake, so I have to pay. I have to buy a 2 kg cake. But
you have to. You know, Put your
My mind and my mouth is yes,
Exactly.
but for me, I love the new actors and
Yeah.
also the other ones who have experience. What I love about them is they really just want to express their characters, and
Yeah.
so we've been able to push them beyond their comfort zone. Even with the kind of things we want to tackle, for them it's new. For some of them, and I'm so glad that we haven't had a lot of pullback, and also how we've approached it. We've all approached it in such a mature manner.
Yeah.
It's not do this because it's Shuga. Well, film it. No, it's sort of like, yeah, I want to do the best for this character, so let's move. Let's move organically.
Okay.
So I've been really surprised.
Directing is not easy. Few challenges that you've gone through because people don't understand just how hard it is to direct a film.
Yeah.
Your experience
For this one or just in general?
in general, Simon, for the young
yeah.
directors out there who want to make a film, it's not easy.
Yeah. But it's a balance between resources and expression. There are certain things you want to do, but the resources don't agree with. So the challenge is just working within your means, but not conforming to the norms. You know, especially with Shuga for us, with having Enosolik on board, he allows us to dream, and then he puts us in the reality of the box. It's like, I know what you mean. Let's move it this way. So
nice.
It's a good challenge where you're just, the secret is surround yourself with people who don't just say yes. Surround yourself with people who bring something to the table. With Enos, it's a negotiation every day where like, I want to express this, and it's like, I get you. We could add this, we could do that. It's not just, I want this, like, okay, just move. You need a bit of back and forth and exchange with creatives to make sure that you're expressing it to the fullest. And that's what we have in Shuga.
Oh, nice. So yeah, Shuga, MTV, it's coming out soon. One of the best directors in Africa. It's a part of a team, a great Kenyan team. I think we don't understand the magnitude of what we have. First of all, this is an all Kenyan production team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I believe that's one thing that's going to make this particular Shuga unique. Plus the story, he likes the story, so it has to be good. So see you in the review. I can't wait to talk about this.
Cross fingers, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Hi, my name is Kevin, Njue Kevin. I am a filmmaker, and on MTV Shuga Mashariki, I'm the senior producer.
Oh, nice. So this is all your responsibility?
Yes, this is my responsibility in terms of getting the project from the ground up until people experience it in the screen. Of course, it's not my work alone. I do have collaborators and colleagues who we work alongside, but yes, that's one of my many roles in the project, is to oversee the whole MTV Shuga Mashariki project.
Okay, yeah. So I've noticed that one unique thing about this show is that there are a lot of talented people behind the scenes, Kenyans. So this is 100% Kenyan. Around this.
Shuga Mashariki is a Kenyan production run by a Kenyan production company. Our crew is 100% Kenyan. Our cast is 100% Kenyan. So the only part we do have a bit of support or talent from outside is maybe post-production, where we have a blend of Kenyan and South African post-production team. But in terms of production team, all Kenyan.
Which criteria did you use were you a part of the people who were involved in picking the directors?
I was.
Okay, so what were the guys going for? Because I don't know if I communicated this before. I was asking myself, why didn't we see people like Edu G, who I think did one of the most creative movies last year, or people like Jennifer Gatero, who has done a lot of movies around a lot of shows around young people. I was asking myself, why are these people not being selected? How would you look at it, or what was your process?
Well, the people you're mentioning have done great work. I appreciate them as artists, as filmmakers. But the process of selecting directors is a delicate process that involves certain things. It involves prior work. It involves interest, it involves availability. There are a lot of things that go into selection. So I can't go into the nitty-gritty details. What I can tell you is our directing team are the best talent that could possibly be on MTV Shuga Mashariki based on their prior work, based on their experience in creating series or movies. So I think we do have the best talent in terms of the directors. Of course, the pool of talent in the country is wider than the opportunity we had. We only had an opportunity for just 3 directors. But of course, Kenya has more than 3 directors. So again, it's also a question of how much capacity and opportunity do we have. We just had 3, and we went with what we believe are the best directors for this particular project.
Now, for you as a producer, what is so exciting about this? The return of, I would call it the return of Shuga to Kenya, because we had the first season and the second season in Kenya. Then it went off to Nigeria and South Africa, and now it's back to Kenya. What necessitated the return of the show to Kenya, where it all began?
Well, the foundation always wanted to come back to Kenya after Shuga 1 and 2, which was a runaway success in terms of the reach, the impact, the defining moment in which all other Shugas just, were born out of Shuga 1 and 2. So as a foundation, they wanted to come back. This is even before I joined the foundation. The aspiration and desire has always been there. It was just a matter of when, not if we will come back. It was just a when.
Yeah.
So when it finally aligned, that's why we're back now.
Something else that I've asked all the directors, most of the directors, when I hear the word foundation or organization, the first thing that comes to mind is that the message is going to overpower the entertainment or creative process.
This project is anchored around MTV Staying Alive Foundation's program, which is around Sound Kenya.
Yeah.
So of course it has some messaging we want to empower young people with. But from a creative perspective, have no doubt that this will be a creative project. This will be a project that is pushing the boundaries creatively, structurally, execution, and even think about the history of Shuga. Shuga 1 and 2 was still a messaging show. It did have messaging, but it was well packaged in a sense that it's palatable for young people to consume, and that's our style. The style of Shuga is yes, it does have messaging, but entertainment has to be at the core of it, and this season has even pushed the boundary, because what you will watch is what we think is a Shuga 2.0 redefinition of what it means to have a Shuga show. So creatively, we've not held back. It's all guns blazing creative.
Now, my other question is that the modern world has become so complex because of social media, and our style of consumption has evolved. People are going for 10-second, 1-minute videos. What exactly are you doing to ensure that the young people of today can actually consume this product, can consume a 40-minute episode?
So Mashariki is actually a half-hour drama, so it's 22 to 24 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not a 1-hour show. So that's one of the ways in which to tackle that. But more importantly is the storytelling of it. I still believe yes, we do, the world has evolved to short-form content, but there's still a place for long-form content. There's still appetite for long-form content. There's appetite for, okay, I've spent my whole day scrolling Instagram and TikTok reels and binged 50 million short-form videos, but there's a time you want to just chill on your sofa and watch something long-form, and that's where we come in. That's where Shuga comes in. we're not here to compete with short form in a sense, but we are here to exist by our own merit. There is space for long form content, and there are young people still watch long form content. They still watch, shows on video on demand, on YouTube, in some cases on television. So we still have TV is not dead, if I can say that.